He's iconic, he's unstoppable. He is the man who not only defeated Amber Heard, but also Davy Jones. Yet Johnny Depp is apparently not an iconic actor in the mind of the man behind Pirates of the Caribbean for the Walt Disney Company. And Johnny Depp now, folks, appears to not be returning for the reboot that is officially on the way. Well, folks, we have come to a time where we believe that we can bring back iconic roles shortly after treating the lead actor behind that iconic role in a very bad way. And if we don't bring him back, that audiences will say, well, that's just A-okay. I don't think that's how this is going to play out. But folks, this is a big story, and we are covering it right now. The idea that Disney would reboot Pirates of the Caribbean and not only toss Johnny Depp aside, but also insult him as they do so. Maybe that is the ultimate way that Disney handles those who will not acquiesce to their giant piles of money. Do what we say. We're the mouse. We have money, you. Johnny Depp said no, go pound sand. And maybe he's not being treated like the iconic pirate he truly is. Let's dive in with the panel right now. This out of comicbook.com by Charlie Ridgely. And we're going to make some sense out of this in a way that I guess others might not. We're going to connect a few dots here. Pirates of the Caribbean producer, and yes, I always say Caribbean, unless I say Pirates of, and then it's always Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean producer confirms next movie will be a reboot. Here we go. It's been nearly 7 years since the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie was released in theaters, and Disney is still looking for a way to navigate new waters for the smash hit franchise. There have reportedly been a lot of ideas about the future of the franchise, including a film with Margot Robbie in a lead role, and a plan that involves getting Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow back into the mix. I'm going to have something to say about that in just a moment. Hang tight, folks. Comicbook.com recently spoke to legendary producer Jerry Bruckheimer about his new film, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and was asked about the future of a couple of his hit franchises, Top Gun and Pirates of the Caribbean. And we've already heard that Top Gun is probably getting the trilogy treatment coming out soon, TM. Bruckheimer pondered which of the two may return to the big screen first, and in doing so mentioned that Pirates is hitting the reset button. Here's what it says. It's hard to tell. You don't know. You really don't know, Bruckheimer began. You don't know how they come together. You just don't know, because with Top Gun, you have an actor who is iconic and brilliant. And you have that with Pirates as well. And how many movies he does before he does Top Gun, I can't tell you. But we're going to reboot Pirates. So that is easier to put together because you don't have to wait for certain actors. Folks, here's the breaking news, okay? And again, Acolyte coming after this. Breaking news is, it seems to me we're getting confirmation now that they're going to go ahead without Jack Sparrow, and without Johnny Depp. And if we go back up here, what does it say? The lead role and a plan that involves getting Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow back into the mix. Okay, if we combine those things together, what do we get? I'm here to tell you this article is leading me to believe that they may be looking to recast Jack Sparrow. And I'm going to throw another piece of evidence to this, folks. Evidence number 2 on it. They've got Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean in the rides at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. I'm not sure about the other versions, but he's in there on those two. It would be expensive to remove him. It would be expensive to change his appearance. I bet that they're going to take the iconic look that Johnny Depp created and hand it over to somebody else. If they can find somebody else. And there's somebody desperate enough that they would do it. But I think that's a landmine. I think that's fire. Tom, you just joined us. We'll put you in the hot seat. First take on that one. What's your hot take, Tom?
Well,
you want to see a pirate?
It's pretty obvious. I mean, yeah, no, who does? But I think the words are pretty obvious. I mean, I don't know if you can really hide it much more than that. I mean, we usually dance around and try to figure out what these things mean. But I mean, this is pretty much a shot across the bow. This means to me, I wonder if some of the rumors that you and others had heard about them trying to get him back were true. And I think we also heard that he said, you know,
right,
go alpaca yourself.
Part of those rumors were that they offered him a ton of cash.
Yeah,
and
a
he
ton
said,
of alpacas. Yeah,
pound sand. You can't pay me enough.
And I think that's what happened, and that's what I think this crack was about, which could mean that most likely. Here's the thing, and the reason why I think Bruckheimer put this jab out there for Johnny is because if they even had that conversation, that means Bruckheimer went to bat for Johnny, and Johnny let him down. Right?
Well, there's the comparison, Tom, of
he
Tom
carried
Cruise
the torch
and Johnny
all this
Depp.
time. Yeah, exactly. He carried the
He's
torch
calling
all
Tom
this
Cruise
time for
iconic.
Johnny. Yeah, and then he turned around, and when he did go to him and say, "Look, I got you back. Are you ready?" And he's like, "No, I'm good." He's like, "No, you don't understand what I went through to keep this in play, and now you're telling me no." And Johnny's probably like, "Yeah, I'm done." And Bruckheimer's like, "Well, heck, what am I supposed to do now?" And he was probably hurt by it. So that's probably what the little jab is about. That would be my interpretation of the situation. And I don't blame Johnny for saying no, but I can also see it from Jerry's point of view, where he's probably been fighting for him for the last couple of years. And if they did have this conversation, and yeah, that's where I could see it went.
All right, panel. I don't know who wants to go next off of that. The poll right now that we've sent out to the audience is: would you support a Pirates of the Caribbean movie featuring a Jack Sparrow not played by Johnny Depp? I think this is, this might put them right back in the middle of the culture war.
The rumor going around was Ida Berry, correct? From the Bear, the lady from the Bear.
What?
Oh, yeah, that was one.
There was an actress.
John, I don't have a camera on, but you and I have the same facial expression on that one. Did you, Jonas? Did you say the Berry?
Ida Berry from FX's The Bear.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
I thought we were talking about the Berry from the Bear.
Each up to Yubna.
I didn't know that's how you say her name.
The wizard from Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Klaatu Barato Nikto.
Connect the dots for us, Jonas. Where were you going with that before our ignorance got in our way?
We had a discussion about this back when that rumor was going around that they were. Sometimes Disney throws up these trial balloons into the media saying, "Hey, we want to throw out." They will theoretically throw out a rumor about a casting decision or something like that to see how people perceive it on social media. There was a rumor that went around that Ida Berry, the lady from The Bear, was going to be the lead of a Pirates of the Caribbean film. And the general reaction to that was, what about Johnny Depp? Because rebooting without Johnny Depp is essentially lighting a large pile of money on fire. Because at this point, when they were doing all of these all of these theme park ride movies, we all remember that a Country Bears movie existed. We all remember that the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion existed. And Pirates of the Caribbean, there's no reason that it wouldn't have been the same kind of thing. Okay, we got one of these done and we're going to move on, except for the fact that Johnny Depp and Gore Verbinski were allowed to play in this space. And Johnny Depp was electricity on that screen. We all kind of scratched our heads at the time of, why in the world is Edward Scissorhands? Why in the world is this actor who doesn't do these big budget films doing a Disney movie? And then he shows up, and then Johnny Depp all of a sudden becomes one of the biggest box office draws of the period here. He basically changed the fortunes of his career and for Disney at this point. There were some upsets in the back between Dick Cook leaving and Alan Horn coming in, but this was a huge change that was pretty much just Johnny Depp doing what he wanted to do in this role.
And you have to note, it wasn't just that it was this wonderfully crazy offbeat character of the kind that he does so well, because he had the exact opposite of success doing Tonto in that weird Lone Ranger movie. And that was the same kind of dress him up strange and let him do his thing kind of part.
Right, and there are good things about his portrayal in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but at the same time, that's not Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow was a lot of fun on screen and was rascally, and there was something about him that was very charming and unpredictable. Unfortunately, I think in the sequels they forgot that he needs to be the side character, not the main character. But.
Of course, the good news for Disney is that if they do it, they're doing it now. in that, I mean, if they choose a lady to play the part, they would have in the old days had to rename her Jackie Sparrow, but now they don't have to, do they?
Very true.
I also wonder about having a female pirate lead when these are supposed to be, I don't know, there's a little bit of a wink and a nod and don't act like that on screen when it's a male pirate. It's
unless
I don't think it's received the same way if it's
it's not pirate. Jack Sparrow, it's the redhead.
The redhead will never be allowed. Never be allowed to be sold again.
Oh, but in that article at the bottom, this guy Craig Mazin said he worked on the story with Ted Elliott, and he says their script was very weird, but Disney seemed to like it. We pitched it and thought there's no way they're buying it. It's too weird, and they did. So how weird is it? Is the question I have to ask. And meanwhile, I put in the chat a link to this thing about at D23. They announced they're going to have a pirate-themed tavern in Walt Disney World in Magic Kingdom, and they have, this is how Disney promotes it, is these people who are pirates, ride operators, slow-mo dancing or running or whatever the hell they're doing.
Well, I'm looking right now, Lou, if we can play that, we will. Okay. I'm checking to see if that might get us in trouble.
I'll also add that it just goes back to that idea that right now Disney is very focused on where are we going to build our next high-end bar
yes.
in the parks.
Where can we sell 2 shots of cheap booze with a lot of fruit juice for $17.95?
That's as cringy as it gets. We're not even going to play it. That's just too cringe.
Okay. I can't. It's weird.
But at the same time, that is 100% a Johnny Depp move. There's no one on set that was directing him to do that until he originated it. I mean, there might be some movement coordinator or whatever, but he came on, and the stories were he went insane with it, and they asked him to pull it back. He came with a full mouth of gold teeth, and so that they would then renegotiate it to be okay, maybe a couple of gold teeth in his mouth. I don't, and Eisner was famously against the Jack Sparrow portrayal. So this is something that I don't think the environment exists for them to do well with Pirates of the Caribbean right now. Also, Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio, is that who made them at the time? I think they got a lot of credit for what Johnny Depp pulled off in that first movie, and then struggled to keep up with it. If you watch the behind the scenes features on Dead Man's Chest or whatever the second one was, because all these titles run together, it's pretty apparent that they were struggling to keep up. And I think the third movie puts the nail in the coffin on that one.
So
it just shows you that Bruckheimer's got the Disney sequel disease rather than coming up with something new.
Oh, and
yes,
confirmation that National Treasure 3 is not happening.
Right.
That's a guarantee.
For the same reason
there is no National Treasure 3. Don't go looking for treasure at Disney.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we get John Wick 5 out of it.
You can't keep building these guys up as major stars and then making them feel so hated and reviled and disrespected that they won't come back and play with you no matter how much money you throw at them.
Yeah, you have to remember that it was Disney that fired Depp, or Sean Bailey announced that Depp would no longer be returning to the franchise a month after the op-ed from Amber Heard in the Washington Post.
Yeah,
and obviously he testified in court. He's like, "There's absolutely no way I would ever return to do Disney. It doesn't matter how much money they give me."
And wasn't that the same time when he got removed from the Fantastic Beasts stuff as the bad guy?
That happened a little bit later, but because J.K. Rowling did kind of defend him for a little bit, but then they did replace him for the third film.
Yeah,
that's right. He was added in at the end of the first, and then fully replaced by the third. So is that like 6 people who have played Grindelwald in the Harry Potter Wizarding World movies? It's almost like a defense against the dark arts teacher kind of role. I would never want to take that job on.
And after they replaced him, that franchise is now dead. Like the third movie is done. It was supposed to be 5 movies. I think it's done now.
Right.
100%, to the point where Epic Universe put in a Fantastic Beast Land, and they are quick to rebrand it as no. This is a Harry Potter land. That's not a Fantastic Beast Land.
Yeah,
it might have Paris, some things.
But when you go through the flu, you wind up in London anyway.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, of all walks of life, we have come to the end of yet another video of excellence, and we hope that you truly enjoyed it. Folks, if you did, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and click it. Stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts, because mine is a terrible thing to waste. So waste not yours. Don't let this be talking heads on the internet. Nay, I say, hop into an entire community of dialogue. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.